Good evening. Welcome back to the Mancunian way. It's Thursday night. You know what that means. Thursday night chat. And we brought in a couple of reprobates to join us.
No comments.
Good morning.
As the responsible non-reprobate of the channel,
we brought Alan back.
He's
been off the show for 3 weeks, so we thought, we're scraping the bottle today, bringing Alan back. So yes, but Alan is back.
Like Rodri, we didn't win in those 3 weeks.
Correct. The show will be given the thumbs up regularly.
It was a disappointing defeat away, but yeah, Alan's back, so we're shored up in midfield.
Well, let's get in some of those, and then we'll go through the news and updates that I've got, get their opinions, and then we will open the phone lines. Good evening, Mingy Wong. How are you, mate? Enjoying the Euro so far? It's absolutely fantastic. Hope England make it through. Couldn't give two tiny little red shits about England. Sorry, just my thing. Apparently, Ederson has accepted personal terms. I will go more into that. Are you going to the final preseason game in Chelsea in the USA? No, I'm only doing the Barcelona game because I'm on a family holiday and I'm not going to get away with dancing around the US of A. I am staying in Florida and only Florida. I'll be having a tour of Florida, but yeah, it's only the Barca game, mate. I think Ortega will be first choice next year, if that makes sense. Go into that more. Let me know if there's any news about Kimmich or Bruno. I've got an update on Bruno as well. Well, you might not be happy with it. I don't know. Hello, Connor. How are you, mate? Good evening to all. Like I said, Connor Rigby's with us. Jack Lee is with us. Lee Gates is with us. Harry is with us. Ed is with us. Jack Lee, telling everyone, hit the like button or you're a mutant. Good evening, Connor Rigby. Martin Sergio Gomez close. Sergio Gomez has gone. That is done, finalised, signed off. Sergio Gomez has left for Real Sociedad. Hello, everyone. Hi, Martin. You guys all good in the chat? We are. Yes. Hope everyone good. Hit the likes, pay your rent. Watching Mancunian way in Love Island. Just not even going to say anything about that, Cade. Ederson is a great person with Saudi Pro League. Craig,
I'll tell you what you should say, Martin, is if he gets mixed up between Mancunian way and Love Island and might think that you and Alan are on a romantic in Mallorca.
So who will be number one? I will go through that, but it will be Ortega. Conor Rigby, hello. How are you? Opinions on pets? All pets. We've got Ortega to be number one if Ederson goes. Here we go. City's won 4 in a row. Kimmich should be the main target. Sergio Gomez was agreed 2 weeks ago. Fee of 8 million, 1 million add-ons, 15 buyback, and a 15% sell-on. 100% done, sealed, delivered. And we wish Sergio Gomez all the best at Real Sociedad. Hello, Chroma Biss. AK's in the building. SOS is with us. Peter Gredstedt is with us. PK has joined us. Hi, guys. Hope all doing well. We're great. Hope you are doing well as well. Dash, yes, Craig. Hope feeling well. Feeling chill with the exception of my WhatsApp popping about non-stop about City news. Well, that's why we've said it. Summer is about to heat up. Hello, Maximan. How are you? 4Pete, yes. As of today, Conscious Sport has not told City he wants to leave, nor has any club bid for him. No, there is no club bid for him, but he has agreed personal terms, is what I was told earlier. Hey, Blues, but they're not going to stand in his way if the bid comes. But I'll go through all that in a moment. There is a rough estimate of what I got told City would be happy with. Hello, everyone. And the money on offer is I can't actually blame. Hello, Sir Alan is here. Finger red number 1. Big up, Alan, Rich, and Martin. Hello to you. Who's that guy on the right? A returning hero? Jesus. Hero?
Nigel Gleghorn. He used to play for us in the
Roberto Sherkov says, evening blues. Hello to you. Hit the likes, guys. Thank you very much, Craig. Hello, Pardo Oaks. Oh, by the way, thank you all for last night. I hope you enjoyed last night's show. was a little bit different, but we wanted to give a little bit of background into the old WWE stuff and how Co-op Live, etc., are going to play into that. Do that all you want, Alan, but you clearly don't understand business. Is Julian Alvarez staying? Well, up to now, yeah.
Big Daddy.
Alan, wasn't about
Giant haystacks.
asking whether you were a wrestler. Alan, you didn't understand the point of the show. It was never about whether you're a fan of WWE. It was about what it brought to the table.
Okay.
When WWE are a £5 billion deal with Netflix, tells you they're not a little company, Alan.
Martin, I'm joking because I know it winds you because you like WWE.
It ain't. You just don't understand business, man. You don't get business at all, do you? Rose, how are you? Is KDB leaving?
It's a bloody pantomime. Jesus.
Right, it's pantomime that brings in a shit ton of money, Alan.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, United get about 600 million a year for a pantomime. So,
LB going to be crying over Gomez. Am I the only one who's not bothered about Ederson potentially leaving? It's not as upsetting as Haaland, Foden, or KDB.
I could not disagree more.
Well, we'll get into it all, and we'll what we're going to do is we're going to, for the first 30 minutes, we'll do us, and then we'll bring you guys on as well to have your say, where you can have an argument with Rich and tell him, or even agree with him. Craig Part-Time, I think you told us about not leaving a few weeks ago. Yeah, it has to be a silly offer to get Alvarez out the door. Good evening, Luke. Get over to Not In My Lifetime. Hit that subscribe button on Not In My Lifetime. Luke, top lad. Hi, guys and girls, says Ale. Neil Handstack is with us. If Ederson goes to he'll be giving up playing for Brazil as long as he's there. He's not playing for Brazil now. That's the problem, Neil. Quite a few youngsters coming in. Bonsoir, says Caribbean. He commits well much joining as bad as people are saying he does. We would be foolish not to at least consider it. Oh, it's being considered. Hello, Mark Harris. How are you? That's part of the issue, Sean, but I'll go into it and what I got told earlier on. 70 million. You're not getting 70 million for Ederson. Yes, panel. Bonsoir, Caribbean Racer. My understanding is if Ederson wants to leave, man, to get his Pep besides Ortega. Leave City man said Pep doesn't decide his number one is Porto Diogo Costa. Yeah, but not necessarily is what I got told. I've been told different tonight, Craig, but you can obviously we can have a debate about it. I don't mind. I've been told Ortega will be number one, as Fabrizio did say earlier. But we'll go into it because thing is with a transfer window, it's ever changing. This is the thing with the transfer window, it changes. Bruno is now out. It's not happening because I'll tell you why. If we lose Ederson, we'll soon realise I'm putting his bin for how we play very soon. Hello, Michael Judge. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member, mate. Appreciate that. Your support is so generous. Cannot thank you enough for that, mate. Thank you. Heard that PSG. Yes, PSG are in for Kimmich. Good evening, guys. What's the latest transfer? I hope you are all well. Right, we'll get into it all. I've got a list. Where's my phone? Because I literally was on a 2-hour phone call earlier. That's how I got all this info. Right. Ederson. There's a bit of background on the Ederson, what I got told. Craig, if you want to dispute or agree or not agree, by all means join in, mate, because I know you know your stuff as well. Ederson has agreed personal terms with a club. I think it's Al Nassr. There is no agreement with Manchester City on a fee. They've not even approached. They wanted to get an agreement with Ederson first, I believe. The fee I got told for City to sell will be 40 million, around 40 million with add-ons. There was an issue pre-Fulham away, I got told. Again, this is all rumour, and I always say rumour, and I always say reportedly, just to cover, because again, nothing is ever 100% unless you're there. So, because he already had time on his contract, Pete. Ederson, listen, I hope he stays. But he's been offered 600,000 pound a week with over a 30 million pound signing on fee.
Tax free.
That is life-changing money.
Yeah, it's tax free as well.
Life-changing money. Plus, he has done everything he possibly can at Manchester City. 40 million is cheap. The thing we've got to realise with Saudi, they don't pay massive fees. They pay massive wages, not fees.
It's tax
unless it is a global superstar, Salah, KDB, Ronaldo. Ederson's not in that bracket of bringing in, you know, millions of people to come and watch Ederson. There is no fee at all agreed with Manchester City Football Club. They've not even sat and spoke to Manchester City yet, but they have. This has been out. City have been very relaxed. The reports that came out from Fabrizio was from May time. There was a very relaxed, calm thing from City. Ortega did want to play more football. I did get a little bit of a update in terms of what could have caused a little bit of this. Is apparently there was issues. There was a disagreement between the goalkeeping coach and Ederson. As in, the goalkeeping coach thinks he could have improved a little bit with his hands. And Craig Party Time, you can tell me the name of the goalkeeping coach. It's gone out of my head. I got told it earlier. Apparently, he could improve with his hands.
Isn't Richard Wright the goalkeeping coach?
No.
It's the same one. He came when Pellegrini was there, wasn't it?
Apparently, they believe Ortega can improve with his feet more than Ederson can improve with his hands. Was the line I got.
Well, if it happens, I'd like them to go and get James Trafford as the number 2 because he's the future.
Well, he's not, Alan. He's not great.
He played in the bottom with his worst defence.
Yeah, and he got dropped by him.
Yeah, because he's a kid.
And he got replaced by a kid.
Well, go and get him back.
Alan's going to start his love on the EDS now.
I am. You know what I'm like. I was pissed off that he'd left anyway.
The guy they are looking at, what was it? Diogo Costa is a guy they're looking at, but Ortega would potentially go in as the number 1.
Yeah, I mean, if to me, if Ederson goes, I think we'd be a bit silly. And whilst you say we're not going to get what we want, we don't have to sell him. We should ask for what we want. Ederson's been the first in Pep's era. There's probably been no player who's been first on the team sheet half as much as Ederson has in that time. Ederson's footballing ability with his feet has been the difference between us winning 1 or 2 titles and winning 5 under Guardiola. So I think he is absolutely key. And if he does go, I accept Ortega's level has reached up to a level getting, pretty close to him. And arguably in some aspects, Ortega's better. I don't think he is as close to as good with his feet yet. We're going to have to go out and sign a goalkeeper who's as good as Ederson, because even if Ortega's number 1, we don't know if he can sustain being number 1 over a long period.
Thank you. That was the name, Xavier. Thank you. I knew it was a foreign guy. That's why I knew it wasn't Richard Wright, because it wasn't an English name I was given earlier. Thank you, Craig, for confirming that. That's why I knew it wasn't an English name.
Yeah, so we need to go out and sign a top goalkeeper, and that's at the level of cost.
And then what do you do with Ortega, Rich?
You make them battle it out. We can't go into a season with a goalkeeper who we don't know if he can sustain his form over a long period. We don't know what any goaler. Yeah, but if you have 2, you know that you've got someone great to come in. If you go in with 1 and you don't know, because the issue with the goalkeeper is we know that Ederson generally, when he had a really,
going tonight, I can
when
feel
he really had when he had a dip in his form, Ederson, he came back pretty well. He's pretty cool. He's pretty calm. and he can have a bad game and come back and play brilliantly the next day. Some goalkeepers we've seen at City, we've seen all the other clubs, they have 1 or 2 bad games and they fall apart for 6 months. And we can't go into a season not knowing that we're safe in goal. So we have to sign another goalkeeper who is at Ortega Ederson's level. And we're in the same position we're in at the end of last season, where we've got 2 people who want to be first choice. But what we can't have is a first choice with a potential doubt and then a reserve goalkeeper who's going to come in.
You tell me anywhere, Rich, where there's 2 number 1s at a football club.
Last season, City, I think at the end of last season, Ortega and Ederson were both. Well, they were both capable of being number 1s in a Premier League team.
One was the number 1 and one wasn't.
Yeah, but they have to decide. They're going to have to decide that amongst themselves. We can't afford to go in, put all our eggs in one basket, and risk our title, risk the club's, position in the game. I
knew this would kick everyone, and I've not even got to the second part yet. Jesus, I knew this was going to kick off.
We need to be strong or stronger next season in goal as we are this season. You don't go up against Arsenal, who have, who arguably also have 2 number 1s. I might add. You don't go up against Arsenal.
Well, they don't.
They're young.
They do.
We have to be better next year to win the league, because Arsenal will be better. Arsenal are one of the youngest sides in the league, and they're improving. We are going to respectfully disagree. Going to keep this as calm.
Arsenal don't have 2 number 1s. Arteta said that at the very beginning and wanted to play that little game, and then it didn't work out. Raya became the number 1.
Yeah, but they have.
Ramsdale did nothing but bitch, moan, and complain all season.
They have a top-class goalkeeper, waiting back. We cannot weaken.
You can't have a top-class backup goalkeeper.
I got Martin.
If we weaken, then it'll cost us the league. Are we a club who wants to win 5 titles, or are we a club who wants to take a punt and, start to drop back, become like a United? We're not. We want to win. So therefore we have to strengthen or hold our own in every position. We can't weaken. We weaken, Arsenal win the league.
See, all I'm saying is the news I got earlier is exactly the same as what Fabrizio got.
Well, all I'll say, I'm disappointed he wants to leave because he's thrown his toys out the cot, because someone's told him his hands work to improve. Well, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but he needs to grow up.
But Alan, he's also getting 10 times after tax. If that was true, he's getting 10 times now. You change jobs for 10 times the salary.
Oh, big time.
You change jobs for 2 times the salary.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's the problem. The hands thing just gives him an excuse, but the real reason's 10 times, and it's not like he's not. He's done what he has.
What more has Ederson got to prove? What more? He's won everything there is to win. He's been offered life-changing sums of money.
Well, I'm disappointed, but at the end of the day, players don't last forever. He's 30 years of age, nearly 31. But I agree with Richard in a way that we have to go and sign another goalkeeper, and we do, and they've got to be of a certain standard to join our club. We've signed recently. We've signed far too many players that have not been of the right standard at the club. So we can't afford to mess up. So I agree with Richard in his own. But at the end of the day, if he wants to leave,
I'm loving how the news I've got starting to come out now. By the way, sorry, I'm getting messages as we're going along. Carry on.
So the end of the day, if he wants to go, he can go, but only if we've got a player to come in. But he can't. If we haven't got another player, goalkeeper to come in, then he's going to have to sit on the bench.
But like Spado says, I'll wear a United shirt for $600K a week. This is life-changing money.
Yeah.
This is we've got to step. This is what I mean. We've got to take the sentimentality out here.
Well, the thing is,
you got offered 600k a week. You are looking. You are having a conversation, mate. Plus a 30-odd million signing on fee. You're having a convo. You are.
Yeah, it's tax-free as well. People seem to forget that.
We've not even got to the KDB quotes yet, where he's talking about this is money that will change, will not just cover his kids, his wife. You know, he's talking about his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren this will cover. You're talking wealth for the rest of your life. And I understand it's hard, but this is my thing. Some fans have been begging for the refresh, but this is what the reports have been. I'm sure Craig will even back this up. Is the simple fact of this is, it's been said all summer, for players to come in, people had to go.
Correct.
Calvin Phillips and Cancelo were not your people who were going to improve your first team. They were not part of the first team. They make money. They're not squad names. They make money. So you sell them on, you gain your money.
The problem is who can afford to buy them? That's the problem.
I think we've got to really be sort of careful here in terms of what we're doing. You want to refresh, but don't want to sell anyone. Can't have both. It's not going to work. You can't have a Musiala unless KDB goes.
Correct.
You can't have this without B go. This is what I'm saying. I understand people are upset and they don't want this, but Ortega made a quote at the end of the season. I want a chance to be number one. While Ederson's there, he has no chance of being number one. Pep came out and said, Ederson's my number one.
Well,
and that, Martin, is an inherent admission that if Ederson goes, we are weaker. Not only because, firstly, if Pep thinks Ederson's better, then if Ederson goes, we're weaker in first choice. And if we don't sign a goalkeeper who's considerably better than, or is better than Ortega, we're weaker in second choice. So if we don't go and sign someone decent, we've got a weaker first choice goalkeeper and a weaker second choice goalkeeper. And we won the league on a thin margin. We won the league, one save, one penalty, one whatever is the difference in us winning.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree.
So we have to be stronger.
They do have to be replaced, but my point was it had to be first team squad members that went out. My whole point was, you couldn't use Cancelo and Calvin Phillips as the guys out to come in because Phillips and Cancelo were never part of the first team squad. That's what I'm saying. So, yes, they will buy a goalie. Of course they will. I'm not denying they won't buy a goalie, but the simple fact is, here's the thing. If City would have put the offer on the table, and they might have done, but how can City get anywhere near 600k a week right now?
The bottom line is he's on a
City can't touch it.
It's on his dummy out, I think, over a criticism.
So if you go to Ederson and go 200 grand a week, you're still 400 grand a week short from Saudi still. This is the problem. We're now fighting the complete and inevitable here.
It's disappointing.
I know people are worried, but you got to think, look at KDB's comments lately. Come out again today.
Is that KDB's words or is that the press's words?
No, he's doing an interview, but he keeps. It's like Tommy tweeted out earlier on. It's as though he's like prepping everyone for the. I'm going. He's like sort of mind messing with everyone because every other day he's coming out with different quotes about how it's life changing money over there.
I mean, it's life. If I think the thing with De Bruyne is that it's life-changing.
Right, if you hear beeping, I'm getting messages as we're going along.
Yeah.
There was a lot to go through.
You look last season, Liverpool turned down...
Potentially, yes.
Reportedly turned down 150 million for Salah. Absolutely mind-numbingly stupid. They should have taken that money. He gave them about a 15th of that as value last season. They should have taken that money and they should have then spent that money on... they could have signed two long-term top-class replacements to replace a player who is declining, even though he has been their best player. And ultimately, if Kevin De Bruyne wants to go, then he is a flagship signing. He is a massive signing for anyone he goes to. City just say, we want Salah fee. We want 150 million. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And if we get that, we go and sign the next Kevin De Bruyne, who's 10, 12 years younger.
We'll see how
and have change. And,
well, this is where I'm coming to, Rich.
That's a good deal. And
the thing I got earlier was, and I don't know if Craig's been told this or Craig knows this. Again, this is only what I've been told. City may have moved their transfer window up. So what was potentially planned the next summer may have been moved up to this.
Yeah,
depending on outgoings. Bruno Guimaraes is not happening, is what I got told. That is definitely off. The reason was they asked him, as I said all along, Bruno had to push the move. Bruno went on holiday and then went to the Copa America and told City I'm not going to do that. So that was it. That's why they never moved. Bruno was not going to push it at the Newcastle end. So that then ended, which is where Kimmich has now come back into play. The other news I got today was Kimmich does not have an agent at the moment. That may change very soon. He may about to get an agent.
Should get Pep Guardiola.
The other thing I got was, and luckily enough, this actually got tweeted. I mentioned this earlier on in my space, so everyone knows that this came about 3 hours ago. Theo Hernandez.
Yeah, that's in the Manchester Evening News, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it came out. I did get to this. This got tweeted out. Whether was it Pedro Almeida? Theo Hernandez is a player that Manchester City like, who's been watching him since last year. However, at the moment, there's been no talks whatsoever, which is true. The French player would be open to a possible move to England. There has been no direct contact so far, but Theo Hernandez is on the list. Now Gomez has got out.
Okay.
Because they're not overly worried about the right back situation because they have Kyle Walker, who again may not potentially still. I got an update on him was that I'm going to come to Adam Wharton as well.
Well, the thing is, if you sign, for example, if you sign Theo Hernandez, then that means that Ake becomes a pure centre back again, or Guardiola does, because you don't have three left backs, and that means that there's going to be a lot less chance for Akanji to play. So Akanji, would probably become far more of a right back. I also think, the one thing, if we did go for Kimmich instead of Bruno, he totally solves that problem, because whilst he wants to play more midfield than right back, he is a top class right back. So that if you sign Kimmich, he's going to get a lot more football probably than Bruno because of that ability to play right back.
Yeah.
Link is now in the chat. I've got Adam Wharton news. That was going to be for next year. Arsenal, United and Liverpool are looking at moving. No, it's not, Nick. It was in the MEM, but it is now coming out here. Hernandez is actually on it, but it is there. I'm not saying it's happening, but it is. It's not. Listen, Charlotte, I know what went in the MEM because I tweeted out earlier, but I got told, and I can show you right now on the text messages that came through 4 minutes ago, that Hernandez is definitely a target. And all I'll say is, and I'm going to cover up the name, there you go. That's what I was getting through, literally, as we've been on air. And you can see, I don't know if you can see Hernandez there, but they are as I'm going along.
Let's just see what happens.
Oh, I am getting stuff as I'm going along. So, yes, it was an AI because we talked about Elisa. Totally agree with you, Charlie. That was an AI. But Theo Hernandez, listen, Again, these are just on the list. I don't know whether it's going anywhere. The other message I got was, get ready for after the Euros.
Well, yeah, things will hot up. You know, England will be going out.
There's a lot of moving parts going on at the moment. Adam Wharton got moved up again, just on the list. The other one I got is they are expecting some offer for Walker. Whether that happens, I don't know. But they're okay with the right back because they've got Stones, Akanji, and Rico who can all fill in at right back. They're potentially looking at a back three to go into a 3-2-4-1 formation.
Well, we've got to look at right backs. You know, at the end of the day, Walker is 34, for God's sake. I know he's reasonably fit for his age, but he's 34. So we've got to.
Charlie, I don't know why you're coming in doing that and trying to be a smart ass when last week you got an £85 shirt, mate. Come on. This channel gave you an £85 shirt and then you're coming in trying to take the piss, Jordan. Come on. Have a little bit of respect, Charlie. With all due respect, mate. It's a bit of a piss take when you win the prize and we help you and you get the £85 shirt and then you come in and take the piss, mate. Come on. Little bit of respect, Charlie, because you've been doing it on a few things lately. It's not a good look, is it, mate? With due respect, Charlie. You don't have to agree, but don't come in trying to take the piss. Yeah? Little bit of respect. Right, let's bring in. Are you all right to bring in the guests, gentlemen?
Yeah, absolutely. Good idea.
Right, we'll bring in AK, and then we'll bring in Luke as well. AK, good evening. Whoa, you're a bit blurry. Where are you? Just let me know. Is it blurry or is it me? Anyone tell me?
I think it's the light settings. I'm sitting in the dark.
Well, can you not put your main light on? Can you not put your main light on in your bedroom?
Yeah.
It will help.
Then it'll just show how old everyone is here.
Yeah.
Right, AK, what do you think then? Because I've
Yeah.
where are you at with the Ederson stuff? My apologies.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the Ederson news, when I first read it, I felt bad for Ederson because people don't realize that he won us the Champions League. People don't realize that. And now the media are saying that Ederson is not being respected. I mean, come on, it's a piss take. It's a piss take by the media. We City fans adore him. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's I don't feel too sorry for him though. If he's gonna get 600 grand a week after tax, you know, maybe he'll look at it as he's getting his reward for the Champions League and everything else, because that's why he's getting offered so much money because of that. But you know, City need to look after City. You know, I don't think it's not Ederson we have to worry about. It's City after Ederson goes.
I'm good seeing him upset, but it's his choice. If he's the one that's stirring the pot here, not anybody else.
I think, Charlie, that's fine. It's the way it came across. So my apologies, just the way it came across, mate.
At the end of the day, it's Ederson is stirring the pot here, not Man City. So we can be, yeah, we're upset, yeah, we're gutted about it. But at the end of the day, if he wants to go for that kind of cash, which is life changing, that's up to him. If he wants to play Mickey Mouse League, because it is a Mickey Mouse League, for cash. He's 30 years of age, so he's on the slide now. But at the end of the day, Richard is 100% correct. We need to sign another goalkeeper if he goes. But at the end of the day, Ortega's not the worst. Let's be honest. Is he? He's not the worst, is he? He's pretty good.
He's not the worst.
Yeah. So he's good. So at the end of the day, us fans get a bit sentimental and say, "Oh, paying more." Even if Martin's right, even if we're paying him £100,000 a week extra on top of his £100,000 what he's getting now, it's nowhere near what he's going to get in Saudi, is he? So
Such a difficult one.
It's a hard one, but if he wants to go, I don't want a player forced to stay at City. I want a player that wants to play for us. And if he wants to throw his toys out the cot because the coach has turned around and said, you need to improve your goalkeeping hands, and his feet's good, obviously, but Ortega is probably slightly better with his hands, which is true, he is. But at the end of the day, if he throws his toys out of the cup because of that, then it shows his mentality, doesn't it? Rather than saying, right, I'll show you, I'm crying, I'm going away, I'm going to go.
If that's true.
Yeah, if that's true.
Honestly, I can imagine him getting annoyed. I can't imagine him having a cry and giving up.
He did get very grumpy towards the end of the season, Ederson, Rich. He got very grumpy.
He got injured 3 times. He was a bit bad and bruised for a couple of months, and he'd get himself back in, and then he'd get injured. So, in Ederson's shoes, I'd have been grumpy last season because no one wants to sit and watch someone else playing well, and he knows he's injured, and you knows. You can see how much he's concussed and his eyes smashed up, and he's got an injured leg, he's got an injured arm, and he's desperate to stay on the pitch because you could see how grumpy he got when he had to come off. But he had to come off.
He knows we've got a world-class fucking goalkeeper in reserve, which we have.
Yeah,
is Alan dropping F-bombs just randomly now?
Yeah, that's true. When you lose your place to, when he lost his place to another goalkeeper, or Claudio Bravo came in for a couple or something, he's probably like, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. But when Ortega comes in and plays that well, it is worrying. So I kind of get why he'd be grumpy. I'd have been grumpy.
EC makes a great point. AK, think about it this way. I remember when Eddie made that cryptic comment on Instagram, because I don't think he uses Twitter. Nobody understands but me. There was some. This is what I mean.
Something's been off.
Yeah, I think this has all been from, because you heard Fabrizio today said Fabrizio first come out with this in May. I think we weren't even at the FA Cup final and this was being talked about. I just think this has been in the offing for a little while. I don't know when Saudi have approached him, you say, because this is the thing as City fans. We all sit there and we go, oh, we've had a chat with Bruno's agent. Well, it happens with our players as well. People have chats and they may have said to me, May, this is how much you could get. And he's gone, all right. I'm all right. I'm all in for that. I don't know. The thing is, we're not Ederson, are we?
Yeah, but Alan, I have to say this here. Despite Ederson leaving next, I think KDB is going to eventually leave. Then Walker eventually is going to leave. So I say we must move on. We must move on as a club.
Mate, Walker's 34 and KDB is nearly 30. He's 33, I think, nearly, right? Well, they have to go in the next 12 months, the pair of them.
Yeah, and if we
they have to. The legs go. Yeah. You can't carry on.
Neither of them was as good as the season before. I know they had it. Well, in KDB's case, there was injuries, but it's quite clear that neither of them's going to improve. They're only going to be slightly worse next year, and we can't afford to get slightly worse. So we can definitely keep them. They're definitely still good enough to play, but I think if you've got Walker, you've got to have another right back who can come in and play 15 games on the trot right back and you'd be happy with them. And, with KDB, I think we know we've got that because we've got, Foden, who overall last year was better than KDB when it came down to it. He's not quite the assist king like KDB yet, but he is that position. I think, we signed Savio, and I think Bernardo, who looks very unlikely to go now, goes into midfield. So I think you still got some strength there. But I think we just have to, think if we lose KDB, we've got to go and sign someone who.
Oh, it will be. If it's KDB, it's Musiala. It's Musiala, KDB.
And that's and we should all be fine with that, because Musiala might take a year. Even as good a player as he is, he might take a year to settle into the team. But ultimately, that's better for the long term. And same with if we signed a right back. Yeah,
see, this is the thing we've got to remember.
However good Walker's been, a young right back would be an improvement now, because we've got years coming.
Okay, just before we move on, mate, because we've got Luke, Jack, and Ed who's with us, and I do appreciate your patience. Do you expect a bigger summer now? The Euros are coming to an end soon. Are you expecting, now you see movement out, do you think there'll be more movement in? And are you okay with a bit of a refresh, or would you be a bit, not sure?
I mean, yeah, I don't want to drag this longer, but it's time we need to change things up a bit now, because we can't keep on relying on our guys for a long time. We can't. So I would say we need change. We need to keep our squad alive and of the same quality that we have right now. That's all I'm saying.
That's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. I know, Alan. I know, Alan. We have to go through the entire cycle again. But yeah, I mean, like, it's gonna be painful. But will at least our squad will be stable.
Do you think it's just? I mean, like Rich has shown tonight, City fans are a sentimental old bunch of sods, and we don't like anyone going out the door. We want to keep KDB and add Musiala. We want to keep Ederson and do that. And listen, I blame Arteta for this, because Arteta started tried this role of rotating goalies, and it just doesn't work. Rotating goalies doesn't work. I wish it did. But I
hope Arteta stays at Arsenal, so at least he can bottle the league twice in a row. That's all I'm saying.
You've seen that, the reports of Alvarez, like, wouldn't mind a bit of striking. Don't really want to play another position.
Martin, there's one thing that works a lot less well than rotating goalkeepers, and that's having a crap goalkeeper in net. So
Ortega's not crap.
No, but if Ortega has an injury, loses form, has a confidence issue, any number of things that we don't know, because he's not battle tested in the Premier League. Ultimately, he's come in and he's done really well in certain games, and he could well play and be, if he keeps his form of the games he played last season and didn't get injured, we'd be absolutely fine. But they're two big ifs, because we don't know those two things, and that's the risk.
Yeah, I listen. I understand the risk, and I understand that. But I do think we'll sign someone, Rich. I mean, if Ederson does job, we will sign.
I think we have to. I mean, and even if we sign someone good, it's a risk, because like we saw that with Calvin Phillips. We thought he came in, he was pretty good. If Rodri had got injured 2 years ago or this season, and we'd have had to rely on Calvin Phillips, we might have struggled for a Champions League place.
I'm laughing because I never knew Rich would get worried about transfers. And Rich is like flapping about.
I'm not
Richard, hang on. I thought
I just want us to stay the same or better.
You can't stay the same, Rich.
Richard. From all media reports and lots of interviews on television, we're going to struggle to replace Calvin Phillips.
No, Roma won't fill it. Hey, Kate, is there anything you want to add, mate, before we move on? You'd always
before I leave, I mean, I have to say that it's Ederson's choice. If he wants to leave, I mean, we're not going to stop him. So good luck to Ederson in the future, and we Blues always back him.
Super City says, get Nicky Weaver back. I mean, if it was up to Rich, we still have Andy Dibble on the book.
Big Nicky.
No, AK,
Hey,
thank you so much
Don't
for your
you
contributions,
don't
man.
you knock the Merthyr Maestro, young man. He's the
Nicky
greatest goalkeeper ever to come out of Merthyr Tydfil.
So Pep
I
Guardiola
know
ever
that.
leaves, Rich wants Chris Coleman coming in to take over.
No, you
Oh,
know what
definitely. Get him in.
I want Silky Ilky.
Yeah, we need a bit of Silky
Chris
Ilky
Harris
there.
for Division 3. Anyway, no, appreciate it, AK. Anytime, mate. And I appreciate you supporting the channel. It really is outstanding. Thank you so much, mate.
Cheers, lads. I'm out.
Take care. We're going to bring in Luke next. Jack, Ed, I appreciate your patience. You know how these things are. But we're going to bring Luke in now from Not In My Lifetime podcast. How are you, mate? Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not surprised by the news personally. I think when you mentioned about the actual Instagram post you put out about that was really cryptic, I kind of had a feeling from there that something was going to happen. But you kind of just hope that it's never going to. You hope that he signs a new deal. But it's a shame if it does happen. But if he wants to go, then he wants to go. It is what it is at this point with players. Like, you want players that want to be here. If he doesn't want to be here anymore, then sadly that's the way it is, isn't it? A shame.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I totally agree with Craig's point here. Yes, refresh is good. And I understand that. Listen, I think this is what Rich is saying, I'm presuming, isn't it, Rich? We're not saying, you know, get rid of him. I was using Trafford as an example. I do think it's very hard, though, to bring in an exceptional goaler who's number one somewhere else and then say, oh, you might not be number one here. It becomes a fight then. It becomes a major fight. And I don't like, you know what? I think there is only one replacement City would want for KDB, and that is Musiala, is what I got told. Wharton would be the Bruno alternative or the Kimmich alternative.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at as Wharton as your Rodri. I hate the word backup. I hate that word. But
alternative.
you know what I mean? I don't think, you know, it all depends, because I've always said no fan is ever going to be happy with this window, with any window, because we all have our own opinions and our favourite players and who we want and who we don't.
Is Nunes going? Is Nunes going?
There is an offer, Alan, I believe.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Again from Saudi, but I don't think he's overly keen on the Saudi move.
I think we'll stay.
Can Saudi stop coming for our players? Will they piss off? Stop it. I've had enough for Saudi. They're getting on my nerves. Who do you think they are coming for our players?
It's like it's like when China got the money in it at the time when they put the money. I know Saudi are a bit different to China, but it reminds me of that situation where loads of players went there because of the money, and then it just sort of got like 2 or 3 years of like constant rumors of certain players going to like Shanghai and that. Then after that, the whole league collapsed. I'm not saying that happened, but it's very similar. When money talks in this game, it does talk. And if you get offered that kind of contract, Ederson's been offered. I can't believe him for taking it. He's won this league already, Premier Leagues and Cups. Obviously, I want him to stay. But if that was us, I'm not obviously not going to happen to me. But if we offer that kind of money for a job like that, I'm taking it, or at least looking at it. So it's a shame, but blaming where you want to go.
Can I spin this another way? Maybe a positive.
Yeah.
See how people look at this. Say we do this, we bring things forward a year, and we do the refresh now a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone more pleased that it's Pep that are entrusting to do this? And maybe give us a little indication on where we stand with Pep.
Yeah. If he's staying, yes. Like I said to you a few weeks ago, Martin, if Pep wants to go, we can't really do anything about that. But if he wants to go, he shouldn't be doing the refresh. Someone else should be doing it.
Rich? Do you think I'll punch just while you get off your work emails?
I think that
doing them on here.
I think that there's certain players you sign who can be agnostic of whoever the manager is. I think if you sign a Theo Hernandez or you sign a Musiala, I don't think they need to be particularly Pep players or any other manager. I think they're players who can fit in under any manager. And I think even if Pep's going, we probably know 2 or 3 people who are going to be his replacement. We're probably sitting here and they're like, right, it could be Miguel, it could be Alonso, and it could be, Silky Ilky, I'll say, because I think that's who we should go for. So we'll know, and we'll know the type of football they play. We're going to play the same kind of football when Pep goes anyway, because we've committed to doing that from 6 years old upwards. So it's not like we're going to say, oh, Ancelotti come in and start. We're going to change the philosophy from Cruyff to Sarchi. It's not going to happen. So I think if we sign younger players, to me, that's more likely Pep's going. If we make signings that are over 28 and expensive, that says to me Pep might stay another year because we're maybe being slightly irrational. If we go for the younger players or whatever, then especially a player like Theo Hernandez, who's more of a natural fullback, that opens us up far more to other managers. But I don't know, and I think in a way we've got to be agnostic to that. We can't afford to hold up the club's progression or make bad decisions to try and influence Pep. I think he's gonna make up his own mind, and we just have to accept that.
Mention that though. Do you remember, Luke, Alan? What did Pep say at the end? I want players who are hungry. You want to go again. I want to see these players want to go again. And Craig brought a great point and even KDB's talked about it this week across social media. Pep's always with you. You don't want to be at City. We're not going to hold you back. If Ederson has gone, you know what? For Ederson to be considering 600 grand a week with a no football team shows his heart's not fully here. Even if it is life-changing money. So Pep's probably like, see you then. Bye.
Yeah.
Not bigger than the club. So that's simple.
Yeah,
No one's bigger than the club.
This is what I mean. I think I understand it's hard. I'm not saying, listen, I want Ederson to stay 1,000%. I want KDB to stay. Trust me now, I'll be at the Etihad in tears when KDB walks out the door.
Oh, same here. Yeah.
But then I'm hoping, Musiala comes back in the other door. Then I'm okay. So I do get Rich's point. I just think Ortega's not a bad goalie. For me, Ortega's not crap. There was people last season saying Ortega was better than Ederson, and now Ederson could be potentially moving on. We're saying Ortega's not good enough. So which one is it? Is he good enough or is he not good enough?
He is good enough, but yeah, I do agree with Rich though, the fact that we do need a good keeper. If we are making Trafford number one, we do need to make a good keeper as backup. We can't just, I think again it's trying to find balance between keepers not compete each other constantly, the keepers that have good quality. It's trying to find that kind of balance. So are we going to commit to getting a Costa and Borco? Or it just depends on what the club want to do when he goes, really, because it all depends on it's a hard one. It is a hard one.
Luke, would you go back in to get a buyback on James Trafford?
I think personally, for me, right, I've watched him at Burnley, and he's had a good season, but I always feel like it's kind of 1 year. I need to see him a bit more before I start, thinking about it. If he's a backup option, then all right, fine. But I'm kind of like
that's what I mean. As a backup, another year learning, because he's only he's
not worth 35 to 40 million. No one buying.
That's the price.
Honestly, Alan, I'd have him instead of Carson. I wouldn't have him instead of Ederson now. It's too big a risk. Again, Ortega goes down with an injury. Do you think Trafford?
Rich wants Ederson back on loan from Saudi Arabia.
That'd be brilliant. That's perfect idea, Martin. They sign him, pay him 600 grand a week, and then they send him back to City, and we pay.
And then they pay all his wages, and we get him on a fee.
a bit like we could be Barcelona. That's a great idea. I think you've got it. Now, Trafford, I'm not writing Trafford off. I think Trafford
At 40 million, I am, Rich.
he could be brilliant, but he's not today. He's not ready today to be a top player.
Here's one for you, Alan. Why did Newcastle not want to spend 25 million on James Trafford?
Wait, did I go for in the end? I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, they went and got Ruddy and a goalie out. Now, I know it was a little bit of PSR, but they had a deal agreed with Burnley. Then Burnley went, no, we want 25 million. And they went, no. No, yes, it could have been, but they could have. My point is, there is not a sale of people coming up for James Trafford.
No.
He's not Manchester City ready. There was a reason we let him go. And then, with all due respect, he wasn't good enough for the Burnley team.
He's like Bazunu, isn't he? Like Bazunu's another keeper that I think is really good, but the same.
Yeah, Muric got put back in ahead of him. Muric wasn't good enough for our team, and he got ditched for Trafford. And that's not, I'm listening. I would love James Trafford, but I think we've got to be straight with this EDS. If they ain't good enough, just because they're EDS don't entitle them straight into the team. Bollocks to that. We're going back down the sentimentality road again. Phil Foden got in because he was damn good enough. Rico Lewis has got in because he's damn good enough. Oscar Boba Stakes is damn good enough.
Yeah,
yes,
no, I agree.
We may have dropped one.
If we get Trafford back, he has to have had a season.
Yeah,
where we'd sign him back if he wasn't an ex-City player. He has to get to that level. And I think he needs, from what I saw with Burnley, he needs to play for a better team because it's hard to gauge a goalkeeper like that. But he needs to have a good season for a better team. And I think he's probably, even if things go really well, he's probably a few years. Oh, my Lord. We've got
bloody hell.
Please, no. Come on, please.
I changed my mind. Give me James Trafford.
The hero Trafford.
Well, I'll tell you who we'd probably get from reading the news, who we'd probably get for about 200 quid a week is Ike Immel. We could get him back.
No, we are not bringing Joe Hart back, DC. There's more chance of Alan playing for City right now than Joe Hart.
What's Perry Suckling doing nowadays?
Who?
Perry Suckling. He was a promising young keeper.
I was so bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? Richie's digging Bert Troutman up to bring him back in. That's sentimental. Bert Troutman's been played. Yeah. Rich, I've never seen you this sentimental.
That's not sentimental. I just don't want to
today.
I just have this kind of view that
Nick Saunders doesn't agree with you. He agrees with you. He doesn't think Ortega is great. He's garbage.
Yeah,
play
for me, we have too many fans who don't really think about the game properly, and they think that because Ederson's not as good a shot stopper as the best shot stopper in the world, that he's not good enough for us. And what they forget, they say, he's not that great at coming for crosses, but what they forget is that City concede fewer shots than anyone else. We concede fewer crosses than anyone else. And our goalkeeper nearly always gets the ball at his feet and is a playmaker. And so for City, as opposed to other teams, playmaking is 10 times more important, and saving it's probably half as important. And people forget that. And I genuinely think for 4 or 5 years on the trot, until maybe the last few months of last season, Ederson was the first name on every team sheet. I think Pep probably got the team sheet printed with Ederson's name already in and then filled in 10 names. And Ederson, go back to the Centurions.
Ilkay Gundogan was the same, though, Rich.
Impact.
He went.
Yeah, Ilkay was, Rodri's probably the other one who's probably printed before the game starts.
But Rodri will also go at some point, Rich.
He will.
You've got to come to peace.
And if we don't, but if we don't replace them with someone who
we're going to do
a side as good,
City are not going to allow
Rodri's transferring to the Mancunian way. He's coming on here for when he finishes. He's going to be on everything.
Rich, he's gone into panic mode. Andrew, I mean, we're going to get onto it. Luke, obviously, was my next part. KDB, we've seen the quotes. 1 minute he's staying, and now he's talking about his great-grandchildren being set for life. Tommy put a tweet out earlier on saying that maybe KDB prepping the ball and putting a rationale out for, well, I kind of warned you all this was coming. Is there a concern KDB may go to Saudi? By the way, I will say you are looking at 80 to 100 million KDB out the door from Saudi. So you're not going to let him go for 30 or 40. Just to reassure Rich and Alan there.
Yeah. For me personally, right, obviously I want him to stay. I think he will stay. I think out of the two players, I think Kev will stay more than Eddie will. But if he was to, say, right, I'm gonna take this move and make a good money for him, then fair enough. I know that sounds mental, but you think about it. If a player's being offered money that you can't offer all his counter with, then fair enough. But I just
and if they offer 80 to 100, that's Musiala money.
Exactly. So I mean, if he offer that money, he wants to go. I'm taking it. I love De Bruyne. He's my favorite ever City player for me. I'm young, but he's my favorite City player. I love him to bits. But if he's 33 now, he's still quality, still world class, still unbelievable. But if he wants to take it on that opportunity, then I can't blame him for doing it. Get the money for him, and then get Musiala for it. Then I'll take it absolutely.
Musiala, you're looking at 130, 140 mil.
Yeah. So I think we say De Bruyne, we want a three-figure, million. We're not even going to talk to you if you don't pay 100 million plus, and then you take that and Bayern would deal with Musiala because ultimately he's getting into the last 12 months of his contract or whatever and hasn't shown any sign of re-signing. So, but they're going to want that huge money. So I think for me, I'm far less worried about De Bruyne going in a way than Ederson because I know De Bruyne we've got Foden, and Foden was better last year.
Plus,
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if I was picking a team for the first game of next season that De Bruyne would be in it.
I'd like Kevin De Bruyne to go only if we got Musiala. Only if we could get him. If we can't get Musiala,
I know he's probably not for sale, but if we got a player at that level, even if Florian Wirtz would be another who, even though they say it's not for sale, if you went with 100 million plus offer, they'd sell. I've got no doubt about it for the future. So if you get a player who is one of the best young players in the world in that position for a 33, 34-year-old,
I'll be honest with you. I think Kevin De Bruyne will be more in the market to Saudi Arabia next season, not this season.
Alan's about to get really, really upset because the breaking exit polls have come out. Oops!
The what?
The exit poll has come out. Breaking this evening. But we're not turning this into a political show. But your boys have been smashed, Alan.
I've not voted.
I've
not voted Conservative. I voted someone for somebody else.
Right, anyway, no, we're not doing that, Alan, because that's why I want
Alan told me that he's had a bit of a change of heart and he actually voted Lib Dem. So it's quite interesting.
No way.
It's quite interesting.
No way. I don't do that.
Yeah, I must admit.
The way I put it is, think of it this way, and I'm not rushing you off. I just want to get Jack and Ed in as well, mate.
Yep.
I do thank you. Think of it this way from a City perspective. If they can sell KDB out 100, Cancelo out, Phillips out, Taylor with Bellis out, etc., they may not even have to touch any money. They may be able to buy on what they sell.
Yeah, I love the fact we got 9 million for Douglas Luiz.
Because good enough, brilliant.
No, Craig, I get it. Yeah, there is a potential that he does stay, but what I'm saying is he keeps making the noises that money is not declined any of it. He keeps saying It's generational, and it would be very hard to turn down.
I must admit,
saying it.
Do you know, Martin? I tend to think for Kevin De Bruyne, his best move is going in 12 months because that 100 million that City will get, he could potentially get most of that if he goes in 12 months. I think it's City who don't want him to go in 12 months for free, who want him to get 100 million fee. So I suspect there's a bit of leaking from City encouraging it to happen now. Because either he signs a new contract or we let him go makes sense and get a really good fee and get Musiala. And
depends how much money you throw at them, Craig, is what I got told. I understand what people are saying is, but Rich has got a point. Think of it this way. City are not, if they allow KDB out for free, they've got to put the outlay out for Musiala.
Yep.
They get 100 million for KDB now. The majority of money is there for Musiala.
Yep.
Like
it's
I say,
catch-22.
Like I said, Martin,
Jesus.
Like I just said. I'm not replying to that, but it's very close.
No, I'm update on that. Olmo is not on. There is no Olmo.
Right.
But unfortunately, I don't vote in England anymore. I don't want to. I don't live there.
I blame you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's wrong if you live somewhere else for 20 odd years and then you vote for a country you've got.
We're not doing that. Move on, Rich.
Anyway, like I said before, I'd only sell KDB right now if we agreed to deal for Musiala. Apart from that, forget it.
Yeah. Right, Luke, get over to Not In My Lifetime podcast. Give them a massive subscribe and a massive like. Get over there. Top lads. And get over there. Have you got any shows coming up, Luke?
Yeah, got a couple. I think we'll try and sort out a few things. So we had a City Luke and Tone on Tuesday, which was really good, really good show. I think Alex has finally moved to his new place now, so we're now going to start laying stuff out. So watch this space. More stuff coming soon.
Top lad. Take care, Luke. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
yeah, it's a weird one with KDB because as much as I want KDB to sign, just a lot of the noises are very weird with him. We're going to bring in Jack. Oh, there he is. Hello, Jack. Good evening.
Jackie Lee! He's here.
Yes. Hello, all right.
Sorry, Martin. Go
on, Jack. What do you want to talk? What are your thoughts?
What about
I promise you will not talk Adam Wharton.
I can if you want. But yeah, I think we need to keep Ederson for, it's the way we start the build up from the back. Like, no other goalkeeper can do it. Like, obviously, I've had big criticisms of him a few years ago about his shot stopping, but he really has.
Jack, I can't believe you'd ever criticise anyone. I'm not having that.
Yeah, but he's come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, especially in that Champions League final, where if it weren't for him and Lukaku, we wouldn't have won it. So I think he is a bit underappreciated at the club. So I would give him 200 bags a week. Obviously, if Saudi come in with 700, 800, now you can do, really. If he wants to go, he wants to go. We've won everything. It's just, you've got to try and convince him to stay. But if he goes, he goes. Good luck to him. And he's been a great servant for the club. And I wish him well elsewhere. It's life-changing money. I wouldn't begrudge him.
Where are you at with the KDB stuff? Well, Elliot and Craig part of the time have a debate in the chat.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because obviously I'm a massive Kevin De Bruyne fan, and he can do stuff on the football field that nobody else can. My only issue is I won't accept anything less than 150 million for him, and then a Musiala coming in. But even then, you'd be wasting the back end of his career. Like he can still offer stuff, and when we get to them important games, like when we play Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, he can just pull out something out of nothing. He's one of them players where, although he's consistent, he also has a moment in him. A bit like Rodri did in that final. He's one of them clutch players or whatever people call them nowadays.
Well, yeah, Jack, he's 33, mate.
I get that. That's true, but it's not Football Manager, is it? We don't just dump players at 33.
No,
Otherwise,
well, that's just, you know, at the end of the day, it's a business as well. That's more important, and that's the way they put things.
I agree, and that's why I said if they offer 150, then that's a good offer. But I'm not too sure. Like you have to have a replacement. Like if you guarantee that we're bringing Musiala, who I also like. Then I genuinely think about it. But you can't sell a player without replacing him. That's the only problem.
Yep. I don't want him doing it when the company left and when he went and we never replaced him for 12 months. That was just not on.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yep.
I mean, the thing is, I would say is, I think Rich makes a very, very good point. Is we can't keep allowing Bernardo to run his contract down free. KDB run his contract free. Because then we are going to get money coming out. Because, yes, I know over the amortization, etc., and it's all paid up. But if you can get money in for that player,
you got to let him go.
All that money then becomes profit because they're already amortized off.
Yeah. I think that's a good point because at the end of the day, we're not a charity. Like Alan said, we are a business. We've got to profit on these players.
This is my one thing that annoys me with City is we think we should allow everyone to disappear on a freebie.
Yeah, I don't think that's mentality. When the time's come for a player to leave, they leave. But ultimately, I'm not sure if De Bruyne's time is here yet. If it was a player like, say, a Walker, then maybe it might be time. But
I think it's time. I think it's time now for Walker to move to Sheffield United. I'll be honest with you, he's 34.
I agree, but I'm not going to. No comment.
Still got a year or two left, Alan. So unless they haven't got the money to pay for Walker,
yeah.
Again, we can't allow We can't allow Walker, Bernardo, KDB all out for free, and we whack out the outlay for everyone else.
Yeah, it's not quite sustainable. So.
Because how much would a KB replacement be?
Like you said, 150 for Musiala. So
right.
If we...
That's my point. And that was what Rich said earlier. If the club can get 100 back,
it's not
that's the majority of your outlay back out.
It's not a bad deal. As much as I love Kevin, maybe that's just sentimentality. Maybe that's sentimentality.
It is. It is when you're getting Musiala, you're getting a young lad in, aren't you, as well?
Yeah. I still cannot believe... If it's true that Liverpool turned down 150 million for Salah last year,
stupid.
That's just absolutely ridiculous. If they really did, mind-numbingly.
Coming
stupid.
for us on the 10th of August, we found a United fan who cares about the Community Shield.
Have you did a play? We'll have the league. Thank you.
He's 33. This is the thing. By the way, we're not saying sell KDB. The only way you sell KDB is if you are guaranteed a Musiala in. You're talking that level.
Will you accept Verts instead?
Yeah,
I don't see I'll be honest with you, Verts hasn't impressed me in the Euros.
Well, now there's Phil Foden. Phil Foden's been like a reserve player. It's crap.
Yeah, but he's been played out of position, Verts.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle with that. I ain't going into England because...
We'll talk about that privately, Jack. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'd get banned.
I'm just thinking. This is why I always say transfer windows are so weird because they can change like that. 2 weeks ago, we were all over Bruno, and then that's just gone. This is the thing. It moves at such a massive rate.
It's an interesting one. When you've got with these new PSR rules coming in and all this, when last year's books going up until the 30th of June, I predicted that there will be basically nothing until the 1st of July, basically even later because of the Euros. So a lot of teams are going to get their business done quite late this year, I think.
Yeah, there'll be a rush this year.
Yeah.
And they're hoping to see their business early as well.
It's a real weird one. Because I just think this window could be an absolute mad one, and it could be absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a lot of signs. We just really need to sort the goalkeeper situation out, find out what's going on there, and then obviously bring someone who can play alongside Rodri and who can take over the reins for a few games when he needs a rest. It's not like we need an overhaul just yet. I'd love a new right back, but if you look at the market, it's dog shit. We're not looking at any good right backs at the minute, so we're a bit stuck there. We should really give Rico Lewis a chance.
Yeah. We might have the best right. We might have the best right back from the Euros coming, and we won't have any choice. The way it's going at the minute.
Also, think of it this way: we don't know who's going to come back fit from the Euros. Kyle Walker does his ACL in the next game for England, changes your whole window.
Well, look
Phil
at
Foden snapped his leg. I'm not wishing that, but do you know what I mean? This is why I think City are going to wait till after the Euros are done. Let's see, everyone's fit, ready to roll. Because if Phil Foden has a mate, like KDB, where he snapped his hamstring, had to go and have an operation. That I'm not wishing that on anyone, but that can also then change the window around.
Reece James.
If it wasn't made of glass, I would actually go for him.
Do you think Pep's going back to two wingers, maybe two up front? I think Pep's going to go to 3-2-4-1. I think we're going to go into the treble season. I don't think, from what I got told, you won't see it fully. So you'll see the lineup or the formation around about the Community Shield. He's going to experiment while away in USA because none of the first team are going out. There's about 4 or 5 of them going out to USA. That's it.
Yeah, a lot of them are still finishing the Euros a week before, so you're not going to see Rodri because
you've not got Alvarez till September.
Yeah, it's like we usually treat the first few months of the season as pre-season, basically, because if you look at how long the season is, I don't blame him because the amount of games you have to play, we need to. I think we've timed this perfectly in the treble season. Make sure we're hitting our peak performance level around April, May time. And that's where we need to be at our best because then you've got Champions League quarters and semis, you've got league title run-ins, etc. That's when we have to be there and thereabouts. It's just about staying in that position or being just good enough to be in the hunt for the Premier League and being in the quarters of the Champions League. As long as we can do that, I think we've got a good chance of having a really good season next year.
Yeah. KDB is a big name. I mean, Ederson will go out 50 million. It's been discussed about KDB. So, thing is with KDB, he's doing a lot of talking. Like I said, he's going to sit down and see what City want. So we don't know.
When players come out doing a lot of talking, it's I always think something's on their mind. When you're focused on your football, you don't do a lot of talking. You're outside the media. You just focus on your game, right? Obviously, unless you're a captain. I think he will look at it, and going to Saudi is life-changing money. And again, I wouldn't begrudge him. He's been one of the best servants of the club. If he wants to leave, he's fine to do so because he's earned the right to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Just hope we can make sure that we're...
Just a quick question, Jack, Rich, and Alan, and anyone in the chat. Nick's made a good point. Every top player we've had has gone for free, really. Great point. But we've always had the EDS players to fall back on to make the money back.
Yes.
That's kind of at a dry spell at the moment. Hence the big investment back into the youth project. So from the under-7s all the way up. You've seen we bought that lad from Tottenham last week. We've agreed a deal for. This is so
Southampton as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't think we can keep allowing the top players out for free because we're not going to be able to make the money back for the next year or two. Because there's no guarantees. I don't think Cancelo's going to make any money anywhere. Phillips potentially, but I think you're looking 20. So I think you are going to need some first teamers out of the door for money to put the outlay back out to reach. Because this is the thing: for a KDB replacement, needs to be top class. That will be top money.
Yeah, I think he makes a great point there, because we've let Aguero, Silva, Company, Fernandinho leave without any money, and obviously because of their ages, you can sort of justify it, but at the end of the day, it's not sustainable. Now, I think we have our hand forced a bit with KDB, either this summer or next summer. Preferably next summer, but then you might not get 100 million. It might be down to 70.
I thought he went for free next summer. I thought he only had a year left. KDB.
He's not got 2. I might be wrong.
I thought he only had a year.
Craig, that's different to what I've been told.
I'm not sure.
Very different. Pep said none of them are going out there. So unless you've got very different info, mate, from our own boss, none of them are going out there.
I'm not sure they pay 100.
Exact words weren't. It would be a youthful team going out. It would be the EDS.
Yeah. But I think Phillips and Grealish have said they're going back, and
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're talking McAtee, Phillips, Cancelo. Cancelo, you're not going to make money on. Because like someone's put, I'm just going through the comments. And listen, that's why we're here. We're here to agree to disagree. And none of us know Fuller. But like I said, he put it in there. Someone's put in there about where is it? If we can dump Cancelo, Calvin, and Gomez. Gomez is gone 9 million. Not a lot of money. Calvin Phillips, you're going to get 20 max. Cancelo, you ain't going to get a fee for unless you go to Saudi. Walker, you're not going to get a big money for. You're only looking with combined with that, Timmy, about 50 million quid.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
that's not going to cover everything.
As much as I'd love to bin all them players off that you mentioned, we're not going to get a high fee for any of them because
we couldn't sell Laporte in Europe for a decent amount of money.
Exactly, and as much as I thought, he was a good centre half, but he was more of a ball playing centre half. I thought he was well worth more than we got for him, but ultimately we could only really sell him to Saudi.
The danger from Laporte is that he can still get in the Spain team from Saudi, and one of the biggest worries about players going to Saudi.
I'm just going to bring it in as well, so he's not sat there.
And we're starting to see.
Good evening, Gad.
Starting to see. Hello. Yeah, I'm saying that the fact that he can still play for Spain from Saudi is good for the Saudi league and not good for anyone else.
I agree with Jules. I get what I mean. I'm in two minds. I get Julie's point. Yeah, one more. He was top assist. Bring him in, but are you willing to let him go for free? That would have to be the question.
Ultimately, we're at a point now where in the next season or the season after this, we've got to make a decision. Ultimately, business-wise, obviously. I want to keep him as a player, but you've got to think like a business. So if we want to make money back from him, we've either got to sell him this summer or I might be wrong, but I think his contract's another 2 years. So we could sell him next summer, but his price would drastically decrease. I don't think I can see any club paying 100+ million for a player with 1 year left on his contract, even if it is Saudi. So
I mean, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to try and judge where we go because I've said this, we're kind of at a crossroads. And this is why City reporters have said for weeks and weeks, people had to go for people to come in. Not about, I don't know the best way to do it. It is so hard. You look at Rich. Oh, Rich don't want Ederson gone.
Yeah, I'm happy enough. I'm happy with De Bruyne. I don't want Ederson gone.
But no, I think when KDB gets back and they have that sit down, we'll probably know which direction the club wants to go, KDB wants to go. And it's kind of getting hard to read KDB right now, but if they're throwing $2 million a week at him, that's going to tempt anybody. So, and we know they had the 150 from Salah, so they still have all that money. So we can be like, hey, 90 to 100. I think that's fair. So, I mean, but we would have to know if Musiala is available, or maybe another midfielder that they rate highly that we don't know about. So I think we just got to trust the club and the people who run the club at this point right now. If we do have
Like
to
Craig
rebuild,
said there, he's only actually got 11 months technically right now left in his deal.
yeah.
Well, in that case, if we keep him, we're going to have to. If we're keeping him for a year, we'll have to do an extension because we cannot afford to let a player of his value go for free. So if we're going to keep him, we've got.
No, we wanted to do extension. I think Martin said earlier that they verbally agreed to extension. So the club do want to get him tied down to get some value from him. Unless he goes to America. But I think we'll know. That's what I'm saying about the sit down. We'll know more about it after KDB sits down with us and they offer him what they offer. But for goalkeeper, I'm sorry, Martin. But for the goalkeeper, how do you guys feel about the Dutch keeper that's at Brighton? Do you guys rate him?
I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest. Look at the amount of goals Brighton conceded. I know their defence is shite, but we can't really be taking a punt on. How old is he? 31. I know it's not FIFA, but it's just long term.
No, he's a young keeper. He's a young keeper.
What for Bruggen? I thought he was 31.
No, I thought he was younger than that.
Well, either way, I'd rather Ortega over him.
Well, yeah, you would have Ortega. If Ortega starts the season, then you talk about who is the best goalkeeper we can get possibly to come in alongside Ortega for City. I mean,
I think
personally,
great point. Can you just run it 1 minute, Rich? I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yep. Yeah. So personally, I'd like to see us, go for the best goalkeeper we can possibly get. Someone like, possibly Diego Costa. Mike Mancunian, I'd like to see a bit more of him at Milan and his passing ability because he's a good goalkeeper. I haven't seen enough of him being able to kind of run the tempo of the team, pass it out from the back. But we need to sign a player at that level because we don't want to get weaker. And at the end of the day, if you take Ederson out, then you want to sign a player who's pretty much as good as Ederson. And there aren't that many goalkeepers in the world, especially playmaking goalkeepers, who are that good. So it's not an easy one. But if he's going to be offered 600k a week tax-free and wants to go, it's hard to say no. I just think City need to be a bit more bullish on the fee for him and just say, well, if you really want him and you're prepared to pay him 30 million a year, then you pay us 50 million, 60 million. Don't let him go cheap. Because we don't. He's got a few years left on his contract. We don't need to let him go. Yeah. So I think we can be a bit bullish. De Bruyne's almost different because De Bruyne holds all the cards. He can sign for Saudi on January the 1st. What's that? 5 months away. He can sign a deal. So it's getting, that is a decision that we need to make in the next month or two to get him renewed or sell him, because otherwise, we've got a player going for free. And I'm slightly less worried than De Bruyne that I don't. De Bruyne has spent half of the last 2 seasons out injured. So he's been out half the time. He's probably spent of the remaining half. He's been brilliant for half of it, and he's been getting up to speed or not. Brilliant for it. So I think we see De Bruyne at his best the last 2 years for 10 or 15 games. And I think Phil we see at his best, or even Bernardo or some of the others, or Gundogan the season before. We saw them play far more good games than De Bruyne. But I think De Bruyne, because of some of those clutch moments and because of the media hype around De Bruyne, which doesn't exist from some of the other players, he does get a bit of the Bellingham treatment at time. Bellingham can have 2 terrible games and does one brilliant moment, and he's like the best thing ever. And we've got players, I think, like Gundogan, Bernardo, Rodri, who've arguably been more consistent, and Foden, more consistent over the last 2 years, who do not get talked about even in the same league as KDB, because of what KDB has been at his best, and because of what, KDB having magic moments, and some of them, like Newcastle, changed the season. So we can't deny the importance of that. But, 100 million, get a 22-year-old De Bruyne in, seems like a no-brainer.
No, but Verbruggen, I'm talking about Verbruggen, everybody that's at Brighton. He's 21. He's been looking good for the Dutch team. Their defense has been solid. He's been solid. He's made some big stops for them. And I don't know I haven't seen a Porto keeper with his feet. I know he's a very good shot blocker, but I haven't seen him. I haven't seen any comps of him kicking. So that's a little worrying for me.
Probably
keeper, you've got to be able to play with your feet, otherwise forget it.
Yeah,
that's why.
Also, Brighton would be so hard to deal with for City. Brighton are not fans of City. They're not fans of dealing with us, and I think Brighton would hold out for some absolutely stupid fee, because Brighton have got a lot of money as well because of their trading us for years. And you look at the fees they get for, Caicedo and Cucurella and most of them. I think they'd be wanting 70, 80 million for him.
But he's already getting in and out of that team anyway. I think he would. I think he might push for that move if we do come in for him, because they're too consistent.
Tony Bloom's dealing with
Cucurella pushed for the move, and Chelsea had to pay 65 million for it.
He's not worth that. Nowhere in a million years.
Caicedo pushed for the move, went on strike, and they still got 110.
Ed, you know how difficult it is to deal with Levy at Tottenham. Tony Bloom is exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. When if you push for the move, it ain't quite enough. That's another point why with the Ederson situation, I think Rich made a great point before. Balls in our court. If we don't receive a good bid for the player, then we shouldn't be under pressure to sell. Like we weren't with Bernardo, because teams are lowballing us with shit offers. Unless they're going to pay us at least 50 million for Ederson, then we should just turn the offer down. I know he wants to leave, but we should just say to him, like we did with Bernardo, look, we'll let you go if we receive a decent offer. So it's up to you to tell the club to raise their offer or find another club. Simple as that.
I know the Porto's release clause is around 55. Right, so we'll be comfortable paying what 55.
See, but this thing like Mohamed Asfilla, they're gonna want to be number ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I said this earlier. Ortega's not going to sign his extension and then go back to being on the bench again.
Trusting a young goalkeeper.
Because if you remember, Ortega was stalling, and the exact quotes were, "I want to be number one." So, I agree. You've got to buy a good goalie. And I agree. This is the thing. If you're going to sell KDB or you're going to sell Ederson, 1,000% you need to bring in good. Especially with KDB, it's got to be a must.
Young good replacements.
Yeah. Unless, it's such a hard situation. But on the other side of the coin, we can't allow everyone out on a free transfer. Because then we will keep running out of money. I know we've made a little bit of profit this year, but we can't.
Business.
There's a reason we weren't dropping 100 million on Bruno.
I think you make a good point, because, like I always say, we're not a charity. We've got to get back money on players that we sell. So that's why we need to demand a decent fee. People look at City and think, "Oh, they've got the money. We can haggle a bit of money off them," but we can't rise to that. We've got to say, no, he's worth this much, and if you don't meet our valuation, then piss off and let someone else come in and pay the correct amount of money for our players.
Yeah, it's. I mean, in terms of who's going on the tour, I'm only going off what Pepper said. I'd be amazed if Doku and all that. If they're out there, they're out there. The problem is you've not got Alvarez till September. Ederson.
Martin, they're playing Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck as centre halves. Don't worry.
I'm only going to watch comments, and I was told, and other people who work at the club, I know Big Steve said that he was told it was only kids going out as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's people are going to have different opinions. Ramsdale, again, but the trouble is Ramsdale doesn't want to be number 2 at Arsenal.
No.
So he's leaving Arsenal because he doesn't want to be back up. But why would he come to City to be back up?
I wouldn't want him anyway. He's crap.
This is the problem.
Crap.
A world where we can go, this is why Arteta was like, I'll rotate them. You be me cup keeper, you be this keeper, and I'll rotate. It doesn't work.
Yeah, let's not
They all
take
get
examples
pissed off
from
with it
Arteta.
at some point. It works for so long, and then they all go, yeah, what a play.
Yeah, you're going to have to go for a very young goalkeeper or a slightly older goalkeeper.
What I'm thinking is get a decent backup, not an
Or
Ortega.
Ederson signs a contract in the end, and we're all happy.
I hope so, but I'm looking at a realistic point of view where if they offer him 700k, then we've got no control in that situation. So what I'm thinking is, if he does leave, fine, we'll promote Ortega to first choice, and then obviously we're not going to go and get a keeper that's good enough to play first team football, that's going to sit on the bench, because ultimately that won't work because they're going to want to play. But don't get a Zach Steffen either. Try and get someone in the middle who's reliable, but who's not complete enough to dog shit like Zach Steffen was. And
I think he'll probably be having conversations in part with the Brazil coach, because Brazilian footballers playing for Brazil is very important, and he's been in and out as number 1 the last couple of years. So I think and you got to remember, Ederson's 30, so he's got 7-8 years at the top as a goalkeeper. So he, like KDB, might have a now or never moment for Saudi, because KDB's not going to be playing at 39, 40 with his injury record. He's maybe got 2-3 years when he can keep playing. Ederson could potentially be playing Saudi in 10 years' time. So, not saying that the Saudi league will still exist in the way and the money will be there, but he's got a different decision because he's 30 years old. He's still in his prime as a goalkeeper, probably absolute prime for goalkeepers 28 to 32. So he's got a different decision. He's like, has he got the ambition that he wants more titles? He wants to do, win another Champions League. He wants to play for Brazil. Has he got that ambition, or has he fulfilled his ambition and he's actually prepared to go and play in Saudi? Because if he goes to play for Saudi for 2 years, he's still 32 at the end of it. So he could even come back to Europe at 32.
He's technically
having made his fortune, or stay there and earn 600k a week again. So it's
who we're going to have a big debate about who's on the list next tomorrow.
He's 31 soon, isn't he? So basically, he can go back to Europe at 33.
Easy. He's a good thing for a goalkeeper.
Well, I won't say, but he's in his, with goalkeepers, their primes from about 30 to 35. It's different with outfield players. It's more
Budgie Burridge, he was at his best about 39. He was
40.
A bit like, Leslie Sheen.
You can come back and play for Wrexham when you're 40.
Yeah,
well, Fernandinho reached his prime at 33, 34.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole Brazil thing, change. I will say, Craig, it may change, but they may go out, they may train and not play.
Can I ask you a question? Change the subject. You mentioned it just before, Martin, in your comment. Cancelo, does he come back, start playing?
Cancelo is going to. Cancelo won't play competitively again for City. Not while Pep's there.
Right. So what are we going to do with him? Because no one will pay his wages.
Personally, I think Cancelo ends up back at Barca.
Do you reckon?
I think he's a star.
We won't see a penny of his fee for another 7 years, or will we?
Mate, he's not going to go back to Barcelona. They've already said that he's not going to go back.
They've not even paid us for Ferran Torres, have they?
No. So who's going to pay for him?
That's the problem. As much as I want to bin him off,
It's all
Who's
right
gonna
saying,
pay for him?
"Oh, they're selling." Who's going to buy him and who's going to pay his wages?
I wish it was that
We've
easy.
got a massive problem there, huge. Does he come back and say sorry to everybody, including Pep, and give it a go when we do need a right fullback or not?
No, we don't. See, this is my thing with the right fullback. You've got John Stones, you've got Akanji, and you've got Rico who can all play on the right back.
John Stones is made of glass. You've seen his strapping he's got on his knee today. Oh my God, he's made of glass, mate.
I think he has a year left too, man. To be honest.
Hey?
Yeah, John Stones. Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about Lee Cancelo. We've got a huge problem. We're paying him 250, 300 grand a week.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I think he might be going out to Saudi because even teams that came for him in the past, he's like, I don't want to play for you guys. So he's already broken relationships and bridges. So I think Saudi's probably his only move.
I'd like to say when Cancelo had his contract extended, I'd like to turn around and say in hindsight it was a bad move. I know he was performing all right at the time, but it was still a risky move because if you think about it, he ultimately wasn't good enough defensively. So we've got to be careful when we're handing the players 5-year contracts. I know it's unprecedented with what he's done with the manager, and he comes out and with 4 years left on his contract, he tries to attack Pep, and now we're having to loan him out until the team buys him. It's just a very hard position to be in because there's no one that's going to buy him. We've still got to pay his wages. It's a mess.
I mean, it's all about being at this level, though. I feel like this happens at Arsenal, this happens at United, this happens at Liverpool, this happens at a lot of. We're seeing Bayern right now. They're having to try to ship off players, right? I feel like just happens when you're at this level, But we're running very well, so.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know what? I'm done with transfer windows. I mean, because
remember everybody yesterday, the transfer window was dead, right? Yesterday, the transfer window.
He's gone from dead to no. I think Ram and I think Gomes is off. Bruno Gomes wouldn't push the move. See, Bruno needed to push the move a little bit, and apparently he wouldn't do it. So
He was never.
Looks like they've moved on.
He loves Newcastle. He's never going to push the move. Ultimately, when you look at Núñez with Wolves, he didn't really have any loyalty towards Wolves, so he was going to push the move. Nothing against Núñez. I'm not saying what he did was wrong. I mean, morally it is, but it depends if you want the move enough. Bruno didn't quite want to join City enough to upset the Newcastle.
Are we signing Isco? Yeah.
Yeah, did he break his leg? Did he just break his leg?
We're finally having him.
No, we won't get Isco till we sign Mido.
Bloody hell, Rich, you're going back. Right. I just think we've literally got to see what happens. I can only tell you what I was told today. Reportedly, they're the update. City have potentially moved their summer planning for next season to potentially this, depending on outgoings and what offers come in. This window, I think, is forever moving, but I think it will go more once this Euro is finished. I think City, yes, they will probably be in America when a lot of this goes on, but it's the way it is, and they meet up with him out there or they meet up with him later. But I do think there'll be a midfielder signs. Hopefully, I think, I would like it probably to be Adam Wharton, but maybe it's Kimmich. I would like Kimmich. My issue with Kimmich is, and I love Kimmich to death, is you're going to have the same problem in 2 to 3 years. You're going to need to replace him.
I'm not sure because he's only 29. And I know people love to say this.
Well, hang on a minute. You kick out anyone over 32. Bloody hell, Jack.
I didn't. No, just Walker. But that's not.
He'd have kicked Walker out at 26, man.
Mate, let's get it right. Every time there's a game on, you're texting me when I'm watching, right? All you're saying is get rid of Walker and shit.
You know the thing is, I mean, what date are we on? The 4th. The Saudi League opens on the 17th of July. I think if this Ederson stuff happens, I think that will be one of the first ones.
Yeah, we'll have to get a goalkeeper. It's as simple as that.
And then we'll have to move for a goalie. But 100%, if anybody leaves about people going out, yes, there will be people coming in.
How do you guys feel about the Porto DM that we were linked to a while back, Varela?
Varela, yeah.
That's gone very quiet.
Okay.
So I don't know.
And if we weren't able to get Musiala this summer, would you guys want to go for like a Eze type or just wait?
Eze, the last thing I heard was he's potentially signing a new deal, but again, that could change. At least he had the same one. He was going to sign a new deal at Palace with a bigger release clause, but I don't. This is forever changing this window.
Yeah, the other thing with the Palace players is if they all stayed, it's quite a positive for Palace. They've got 4 great players, but as soon as one goes, without Elise, Palace are not as enticing for Eze to stay at as they were with Elise. So the danger for Palace is that one goes, and then there's a lot of rumours of Guri going, of offers in for him. And the trouble is when one goes, then another one goes, and the 2 or 3 really good players left are like, well, why would we stay when you've sold the core of the team we were staying with? And then Palace could end up, losing all 5, which is a bit like happened nearly at Brighton, where they actually, if you think of the players Brighton have lost in the last 2 years, if they'd all stayed, how good Brighton could be. But ultimately, once they go, it's even more enticing for the next player to go because you just.
I have just had a text, by the way, that the squad that is going to the US is going to basically be Carson, Ederson, Rico, Bob, McAtee, Highland, Jack, Calvin Phillips, Sabio, Kobe, Gabardio, KDB, Doku are going out, but they may not play. It will depend on their GPS. Craig, maybe I'll tell me what GPS stands for. I presume that means. So there you go, GPS. Anyone know what GPS stands for? I'm presuming that's all their vitals and statistics.
Well,
GPS.
GPS is how you measure where something is, and GPS is measured where the player's on the pitch. So it may be how quick you're moving, but it doesn't. I don't know why GPS would be.
I think this is a great point by JT. I knew someone was going to say sat nav. Some point you.
Well, that's what it is. It's
global. I know, but I meant the player statistics and the vitals.
But maybe that's how fast they. Maybe that's GPS is how much they measure how fast they're moving, and
At some point, you've got to stop signing these 29, 30-year-old stopgaps for 30 million and sign someone for the future. This was a debate me and Jack were having earlier on the space. I was looking at more Wharton for a 10-year long term, because my point is, yes, I would love Kimmich. I'd love him. I'd have posted up on my wall. I'd love him, but I know in 3 years we'd have to go back and redo again. And Rodri in 3 or 4 years would be. That's why my first choice was always João Neves, but I don't think City are going to drop that.
I think we should just promote all the EDS players and play them all.
Oh, we know you do. You'd love an EDS player.
Third division, yeah.
And everyone have a meltdown. Everyone, what's on this superstar, that superstar, and this superstar. Promote the EDS, and we can get them for free.
Alan will be the first one calling them shite, saying they can't play well. You have to sell them.
Whereabouts are you based? Whereabouts are you based? Are you in? Whereabouts are you based?
I'm in Florida.
Right.
Peroni's gone out to Las Palmas again on loan Caribbean. He's at Las Palmas.
I think JT made a decent point with this. We've got to sign players that are more long-term viable. I'm at a middle ground because we're not going to have Pep for much longer. Face it this way. An educated guess.
Try again.
The way I look at it is,
I know nothing. That's all. Alan's gone ITK there.
But-
Alan's gone down the ITK
Right.
with that one.
I've got no source. I'm just going off a guess, right?
You've been
We've got
jumping
1
on
year
your
left
bed.
on this.
You've been jumping on your bed when you find out.
Whoa, calm down with that, Alan.
He's got 1 year left on his contract. Potentially, I think he might
Yeah,
stay.
red zone. Yeah, red zone, amber green. Thank you.
As much as I think the under Pep would be good, I'd rather we squeeze every bit of juice out that we can to win maybe another Champions League, another league or something like that. So signing 29, 30-year-old players for the short term while the manager's still here might be a decent idea. So I don't think these sort of signings are a bad idea. But the problem is with Pep, you're never going to get him to commit long term because he likes to always see out his contracts. So you're never going to get him to stay more than 2 or 3 years because he's not someone who likes to prematurely end contracts. So we've just got to wait and see. If he wants to stay and rebuild it, that's fine with me. But I'm just looking at the time he's still here. Let's try and win another Champions League and try and catch up to the rags with the European.
And remember, we've got the next Argentinian Messi, joining us next summer or this winter or something, and we've got the next American Messi joining us in 2 years' time, etc. So we've kind of gone for the long-term future with a whole series of signings around the world for players who are probably 2 to 3 years off.
They look good in the Championship when we get relegated.
Pep's extending. Potentially. The word I got was the meeting was very, very positive in Abu Dhabi.
Jack, don't worry, mate. Don't worry.
I have to drop now anyway. So I'll say good night, good morning, good night to everyone. Thank you. And keep Ederson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Rich is going to have a meltdown.
Rich, you've got to do a meeting. You've got to do a meeting. It's 9 o'clock, mate.
Yeah, I haven't recovered from.
You're not his boss, Rich. Alan, calm down.
I know he's the boss. He's a CFO. No one tells him what to do. See you later.
See ya.
I'll ring you later on.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
Like I said, I mean, Craig, you are right. Yes, Neves is on the list as well. But again, I don't think you'll see any movement for about another. When do the Euros end? What's the actual date of the Euros?
15.
Well, I won't be watching anything past Sunday because England are going out.
I'm talking in general, and there's 2 reasons behind it.
In general, because
July the 14th, right? No. Finals July the 14th. So I think another 10 days, 2 weeks. Here's the thing: City got to look at 2 things, and this is what I did get told. And Craig,
yes.
I'm very.
He's on Twitter. He's on Twitter again.
No, I'm not. One thing I will say is City will want to know how much of their players are coming back fully fit. Because again, if someone comes back with a major injury, they'll have to replace. So they'll want to make sure everyone comes back fit as a fiddle. No one's torn an hamstring, got an ACL, MCL, whatever. And the other thing is, they'll want to get the Euros out of the way, and then they'll see where everyone's at. So I think you're looking at about another 10 days, 14 days before you get any kind of movement concrete on anybody moving in.
Yeah. We should start seeing more leaks, though, like next week, though, right?
You'll start seeing more leaks, yes, but I don't think you'll see actual ins for another 2 weeks. So Gomez is 100% gone. Ederson has agreed terms. We're just down to them whether City can keep him, and I hope they do. We'll just have to wait and see. It is all in the melting pot at the moment.
Okie dokie. Jack, we can't see you.
But is there a chance we get 2 midfielders?
Pardon?
Say again, mate.
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, like maybe a Kimmich, maybe an understudy, potentially.
Well, he's back early getting fit, isn't he?
Don't know. See, Phillips has come back with a point to prove. I don't think Phillips in his head is thinking he's coming back to go out.
That's
No.
Pep's gonna just come to my office. Come to my office. You know.
But listen, this is going to be one hell of a very tricky summer, and we're just going to have to sit back, enjoy the ride, and you'll say, like KDB goes, yes, 2 midfield, otherwise just Rodri back up. And it won't just be a Rodri back up, it'll be a person who can play 6, 8, etc. And we'll see. Danny Olmo, I know, but like I said, Theo Hernandez, there is interesting. Whether that goes anywhere, I don't know. Ederson has agreed terms, but then it will be down to whether the club can make any offers. KDB, just keep an eye on. Again, he's only got 11 months left. Does he sign an extension? Does he not? I don't know. We are all... Go on, Ed.
No, I was going to say, weren't we linked to that Turkey left back as well before? The one that's playing pretty well right now? Or is he a right back?
The thing is, the club has got a list of a number of players and alternatives. You can never tell which one they're actually going to go for.
Yeah.
You can't tell because he'll have the list of about 5 or 6 right fullbacks, 5 or 6 left fullbacks. So you can never tell.
Yeah, I just know it's like the Italian defender. A lot of people are starting to look at him too. So
yeah,
Caliore.
Yeah, he's playing really good right now in the Euros.
I mean, unless you play Football Manager, you hadn't heard of him 6 weeks ago. That's the thing.
No, I'm not talking about him. No, I'm not. I'm talking about the Turkey. He's the Italian defender. There's a Turkey defender, the Turkey left back, who's been playing really well.
So you need at Leicester. No, you're talking to someone else.
Is he still at Leicester?
Who?
I don't know.
Didn't you?
Don't know. No idea. We'll just have to, like say, Martin. No one really knows, and it's up to the people.
But City will make signings. City are going to move. Don't think City are going in. Cadley Q, that's it. Whatever his name is. Yes, City will make signings. Do not fret. Do not worry. If Ederson goes out, they will sign a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, I can't see KDB going. I'll be honest with you.
No.
Again, KDB will only go if you get the money in. 2 things will determine KDB: whether he asks for the move, to get the money that they want, and they can get a deal for somebody else. They will not allow KDB out without somebody else already
for free.
Confident.
They'll say no to it because they've not got anyone in line.
No, but they will ask Alan. They will say to Bayern or whoever, how much, if we come with this, would that get him?
He's not leaving for free, I know.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? It's out of our control.
Yeah. And listen, Craig will keep you updated. If I hear anything updated, we will. I think people just got to be patient and relax.
Okay. Are you having a space tonight, Martin, or not?
Yeah.
No, I did one earlier for 3 hours. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, well, that's still good for me, though. It's 3 o'clock in the morning for me, you clown. Jesus. Hey?
Yeah, but like I said, Dars seen with finally left back. Listen, Hernandez is only on the list, doesn't mean he's coming. Calafiore is garbage, scored an own goal. I'd never heard of him before the Euros. Yeah. I won't lie. Maybe that's my football knowledge being on its ass. He means Ferdi Kadulki, 80 million buyout clause. He's right footed, left back, and cover right back. He'll replace. Yep, it could be him. Like I said, Craig will keep you updated and other things. Let's all laugh at the rags page. 12 million for Ashworth. The loss, number 1 to Mitchell to Newcastle. There you go. Yeah, Mitchell has gone into Newcastle. It was a big thing of bringing in a lot of youngsters at many clubs. Right. Alan, thank you for joining us. Jack, thank you for joining us. Ed, as always, thank you for joining us.
Nice to meet you, Ed. First time I've seen you.
I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. Next week, I don't know what's planned because the week after, I am going to go. I'm away. On not next week, the week after. I am on my American jaunt.
How long are you going for, Martin? How long are you going for? How long are you going for?
Nearly 3 weeks.
Really?
Really?
So, are you going to do any streams, or are you just going to?
Nope. So we may do stuff coming through, but I may do bits on my phone, but I'm not taking my laptop.
Right. Are you putting Richard in charge so he can do streams then?
No.
Why not?
He wants it to be a break, Alan. He wants it to be a break.
Are we doing this live on air, Alan?
Sorry, I'm already asking the question.
No, we should probably do something at the
I've got
meetup,
to sit down with them all, Alan, and have the time to go through how to set streams up, and not many people are available.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus, Rich is going to be out of the country for a while. People are going on summer holidays, Alan.
Are we going to do something at the meetup?
I know it's winter time where you are, mate. You enjoy the cold. You know what I mean? Get that woolly jumper on.
It's cold here, but Melbourne's cold at the moment.
Good. I hope it's freezing. Anybody else in Australia, I hope it gets warmer for you. But just for Alan, I hope it frigging freezes.
Martin, are we doing anything at the meetup, Martin?
Pardon?
Are we doing anything at the meetup? Are we doing anything like a...
Yeah, but we'll sort it out. That's what I mean. I can go live on my phone. So we'll see. We will see. There will be stuff we do. I will come live from the camping
World
arena, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called.
It's like Camping World.
Camping World Arena. Thank you. I will come live from the Camping World Arena. So if you are there, there you go. But anyway, thank you all. Give it a big smash. Don't worry about the window. City will do what's best. They will not leave themselves short. Don't worry. That's all I'm going to say. Do not worry.
Okay. See you later then.
Take care, all. Bye. We'll see you next week.
I'll speak to you in a bit, Jack.
Speak to you in a bit.
One day Alan will be professional. I don't know when that will be.
See you later.